Hello everyone, I am Prof. Cruz and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a quick how-to on installing a basic Apache web server. We're going to be doing that on an Ubuntu command line, a server instance. In this case, it's a virtual machine in the GNS3 environment we use at the McClure School for various classes. I've done a couple of things here. I have created and started an Ubuntu instance. Ignore the other one over here. And I've connected it, in our case, to a cloud object, which gives me access to the actual network interfaces of the host. And in this case, we have an interface called the public net, which allows publicly routable and accessible IP addresses. So let's hop into the console. Make that just a touch larger. All right. So it's not. So first of all, I'm going to pretty much do everything. If I have to do now is going to require super user access, and rather than typing sudo every time, I'm going to give myself a root prompt. Not something you would normally want to do, but for this purpose, we're going to do like 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 commands in a row that all need sudo access. It's just a little bit easier this way. Not strictly necessary, but I'm going to change the name of my machine so I can I can tell what, right now it has a generic name because it's spooled up from a template. I'm going to give it a name, in this case probably Apache or something like that. In our case, the templates we use have the NMCLI part of the network manager GNOME application installed. So we're going to use that. There are a bunch of other ways of doing this, including editing the settings files. This is kind of convenient because it changes on the fly as well as in the settings files. I'm going to go ahead and change my host name now using NMCLI. It's in the general section, host name, and I'm going to call it Apache. Now we're not going to see the change immediately, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that now. I'm going to exit out, re-log in. You can see we have the new host name. Give myself a root shell again, and let's just clear up the screen a little bit here. There we go. I want to next change my IP address, and I want a static routable IP address. So I'm going to do NMCLI. Connection modify. I checked earlier, so there's the network interface called wired connection 1, which is kind of a windowism I don't particularly care for with the white space in it, but it is what it is. And typing the quotation mark and the W and then hitting tab complete kind of gets you out of having to type all that. We want to set the IPv4 address, and let's check. I'm going to use 132.34.93 with a subnet of 25. Of course, if you're watching this and following along from my class, each of you has your own IP address, so that's what you want to use here. Okay, so let's do that. Now I need to change the address of my router. So we'll keep doing this. You know, always changing the connection, Wi-Fi connection 1. And so in this case, we want IPv4 gateway, and the gateway in this case is going to be 32.235.204.126. And again, for my class, that is the gateway you're going to use. I'm also going to change my DNS. IPv4, and that is going to be called DNS, and I'm going to just set this to Google's DNS server 8.8.8.8. Now we want this to be to be the IP address that's statically connected. So I'm going to do this IPv4 dot method, and our method is going to be manual. Normally it's automatic using DHCP. We don't want that. We want it to stay configured for these particular addresses. All right, so now we're going to apply this. I'm going to have to bring the connection down. All right, and then I'm going to recall this. I'm going to bring it back up. Okay, so if I've done everything right, then if we use the IP subsystem or list our address, there's our interface GNS3, and it has my IP address in it, we should be able to, let's just verify this. I'm going to try to ping the Google server, and that is working. Okay, so that gets our system set up the way we want it. Now we come to the core part. We want to install Apache. What we're going to have to do first, of course, is update our app. Update our app package manager. And then run an upgrade on all the packages that are not up to date. All right, so we got to the pretty much close to the end of the update, and we get a question about whether or not we want to update a configuration file. And in this case, it's something we've already changed, and the package underneath it got updated. So we're going to take the default, which is to keep whatever we have on the system. All right, looks like we're in good shape here. But normally I do a quick reboot, so I'm going to do that here, and I'll be right back. I'll log back in. Do a quick setup here. just something that prevents the terminal from acting up. Give myself a root shell again. Let's clear up our mess a little bit here. Okay, so our packages are up to date. System's been restarted. So at this point, it actually becomes relatively easy. We do an apt install Apache 2. Okay, and that isn't that. This template actually had that installed, so there we are. Now we'll want to ultimately run a secure website, so we need to enable the. It's still called SSL. Of course, it is TLS nowadays, but there's a module we need to bring up. So we're going to do A2, which is Apache 2 enable mod SSL. Okay, and it tells us conveniently that we want systemctl to that we need systemctl to restart Apache 2, so we'll do that. Okay. Now at this point we should have a running server. So let's go ahead. Okay, and this is the this is what Apache installs by default. So I'm going to jump back in here, and we're going to go ahead and change that. In this case, what we want to do is we're going to change our directory to var www.html. And the only file in there is the file. This is the HTML file that produced this kind of introduction to Apache page. So we're going to replace that. What we're going to do here is we're going to move this out of the way. So I'm going to move index.html to, let's call it index original, in case we ever want it back, original.html. All right. I'm going to use the nano editor. You can use VI as well, and create a new index.html. What I'm going to put in here is I'm going to copy it and then edit it. So just you can pause the video and take a look and then type in what I have here. I'm just going to try to do this for efficiency's sake a little bit. So I'm going to so in my index file, here's what I want. So the standard, just a really simple plain text HTML file. It always starts with doc type, HTML tag, header block, body block. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my Ohio ID in here, which is Cruiser. And again, if you're a student in my class following along, put your Ohio ID in the title, and then the example text here will change to something that's more makes more sense for our application. So I'm going to put in here Apache 2 running on, and I put my IP address in there. Okay. And we'll go ahead and save that. So I can just ask to exit, save modified buffer, yes, index.html. There we go. Let's go back here and reload. And now we get the title says hcruise, and it tells me that Apache 2 is running on the IP address I have. So this is just a text I typed in. All right, so that gave us an environment where we can then start experimenting with the Apache web server. And of course, in case of my class, the next step will be to have it serve up HTTPS websites over TLS. So until then, I appreciate you watching, and I hope I see you in the next video.